Welcome to Sovereign Alignment, The Awakening.
Claim your power to create your own reality. Be empowered to manifest your dream and live in a vibrant, healthy body.
Join us for this podcast every week for support and inspiration.
The full moon makes people freaking crazy.
That's for sure.
That's it. That's all you need to know. No. So I'll talk about the physical perspective. So if you know police officers, if you know emergency room workers, if you know anybody that is in emergency services, they will tell you that the crazy people come out on the full moon. That they have more admissions to the hospital, that they have more people in jail. It all happens right around that full moon. And that's pretty common. And what I see on the physical side, parasites. Parasites reproduce on a full moon. Okay? Super oogie, but really common. So if you have a lot of full moon symptoms, it is very likely that you have a parasite somewhere in your body. Now, this can be a physical parasite, but it also can be a spiritual parasite. I've seen both.
So how do you get rid of them?
Parasites, you need a full-on parasite detox. Herbs, really strong herbs are the only way to get rid of them. You can't do it with energy. You can't do it with homeopathics. You can't do it with nutrients or diet. They will not go away. They will eat your nutrients. They excrete a waste product that is a neurotoxin. The more neurotoxin you have, the more crazy you are going to feel during the full moon. So some people feel it on the full moon and some people feel it on the new moon because different critters reproduce at different times. But essentially it's full moon just inspires them to reproduce for some reason. The other thing that I see that happens on a full moon is women have their period. A woman who is really connected to the earth, who has a very healthy hormone cycle, will start their period right around the full moon. And that throughout history has been the norm.
Well, and I think before we had all the chemicals and toxins and all that stuff, that was part of the calendar cycle. Like if you look back at astrology, and I mean, it's there for a reason if we pay attention to what it is. And, you know, we know that there isn't it 24 hours before, 24 hours after as well. So it's not just on that day, but it's before and after it as well.
Yeah, that's true.
So what about the spiritual parasite? Talk about that.
So those are really interesting too. We have, you can think of them like vampires, right? They draw your energy. They suck your energy from you. Some people see them as cords or attachments. Some people see them as like a black smoky mass that's just like attached to you. There are lots of different ways that people see them. But basically, it's about energy healing at that point. You can use Palo Santo to clear. You can use energy work, Reiki. You can use healing touch. You can use, there is a great module in the Ascension Toolbox on about getting rid of those. So
yeah, it's being aware too. I think so many of us have been blinded just by living our lives because we've got so caught up in everything that's happening. Like the kids are going here and we got to go do this and all of that, that we've forgotten to come back to our roots, which is nature. Mm-hmm. It's spending time in that space. And I think as we see the new earth emerging, we are going to notice that we're going to be more connected with Mother Nature. Mm-hmm. And if we do that, we actually can heal ourselves. And we've just become so disconnected that we've collected these parasites, all of this stuff. You know, remember when I even remember, I guess I'm older, that when I was young, digging in the dirt, you know, and getting, because there was stuff in there to be able to that was beneficial for us to be playing
Yep.
around in the dirt, right?
Yep, you have a microbiome on the inside of your body and the outside. Now, here's an interesting fact about parasites, the little critters, whether they're microscopic or not, right? There's lots of different kinds. They come from dirt, they come from water, they come from the pets, they come from the bird bath, they're communicable. If your partner has one, so do you. Okay? So they're passed around a lot more than we think they are. But the fun thing about that is if you do not have chemicals or heavy metals in your body, those parasites will not take hold. It's about the terrain of your body. So it's not about germ theory, it's about terrain theory, okay? Conventional medicine talks about germ theory. You're exposed to something, you catch it, you get sick, you build up antibodies, you're done, right? That's their belief. That's how they think that happens. That's not how it happens. What really happens is your body is healthy and strong and stable and clean. You have all of these things around you all the time. You cannot transmit a virus or a bacteria to another human being because it's already there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of, does my body allow it to grow? Does it create the right environment for that to grow? So I like to think about this analogy of a dumpster full of garbage, right? This dumpster's full of garbage and you're not surprised that it attracts flies. If your dumpster is clean, there are no flies. It's about the terrain. It's about the environment. It's not about the germs or the parasites or the whatever.
So I would say that if you are one of those people, you will know if you have a parasite just by how your body is reacting to the moon.
Yes, you will. You will have diarrhea or constipation. It'll be one or the other, right? It'll flip usually between the two. You'll have mood issues. So you'll get cranky or you'll get nervous or more anxious. Anxious happens a lot around a full moon, but so does depressed. People who have parasites are always depressed.
And from my experience, most of us have some sort of parasite.
Yes. Yes, it's common. If I look hard enough, I can find it on anybody. Yeah. It's just a matter of, is it in abundant quantity enough to cause you trouble?
Right, right. So let's look at it from an emotional perspective. So you talked a little bit about emotions and how they're related to that. It also is a time that when we're going through this cycle, the full moon is a time to release. So again, parasites, kind of move into that too. And it's a time to release the emotions. It's a time to release anything that doesn't serve us anymore.
Yes.
So what I do is make a list of the things that I want to give up to the universe. And then if I have a fire, we'll do fire sometimes, or drumming and things like that. And that probably goes more into the energy part of it. But I will put that list in the fire and just give it up. Yeah. And it's a form of release, letting go of what no longer serves you so that you can allow the things in that you want. So if there's any emotions that you're feeling, put them on there. Everything goes on the list to be given up to the universe, to go, I'm done, thank you. Thank you for that experience, but I'm ready to release that now. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then the energetic.
And the new moon is then about creating the new, right? So there is this natural cycle of release and regrowth and release and regrowth that we go through every single month. As a matter of fact, there are 13 months in a year, not 12. Just saying.
That's a whole nother subject.
Right. Because there are 13 full moons in a year.
Right. And that's why this October, we have 2 full moons in the same month, one of them being on Halloween.
Ooh, that's a big deal.
That's a big deal. That is a big deal. It's a huge energy shift.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about that just a little bit because I think it's important for you to understand that when this energy happens, crazy things happen because you have now got what we call the dark forces that are doing their magic and their stuff on Halloween. That's what it's called, Hallows Eve. And now you've got a full moon, that full moon energy in that same space.
Mm-hmm.
And what if we got 3 days after that? The election. So,
Yeah. Good luck.
hang on. We're going
Yeah.
for a ride. I say, buckle up, buttercup. We're
Right?
going for a ride. It's going to be better on the other side.
I hope so.
Right? So, I just want you to be aware of that. And I think Melissa and I are going to try and take you through that process in the next
Yes.
couple months. So we're going to be doing a full moon ceremony and kind of showing you what you can do on your own to be able to move through this easily and let things go. And it's for those of us that don't pay attention to a full moon and we just go about our business and whatever, we're not honoring the natural cycles of the earth. And really, this is what we're going back to, whether you like it or not. We're going back to the natural cycles of how the earth is moving. As we're moving from 3D to 5D, we're going to be noticing more and more of how we need to get in the natural rhythm of earth. And how the earth, the farmers used to go everything by the trees, the wind, the grass, the animals. That's how they were told when to plant their crops, when to harvest their crops, when it was going to be a frost, if it was an early frost, a late frost, all of those things. And it's important that we pay attention to this stuff because it is all about honoring Mother Gaia, because that's, if we don't do that, it won't exist. And that's kind of what we're going through in that right now and call it the purge, because we're purging out of this dense energy. Mother Earth cannot handle it anymore. She needs to move into a higher frequency. That means that you have to move into a higher frequency because you are helping her move into that. Your vibration is what is helping Mother Earth move into that new frequency. That frequency is heaven on earth. And we are the ones that are creating it. So let's pay attention to our cycles of the moon and the stars and everything that's happening. And it'll help you understand. Everybody's wondering, well, how do I get into my intuition? How do I know? This is a start. Because you have to be in tune with nature and what's happening.
Feeling what your body feels. You're going to get itchy, right? I itched my head because that was somebody was back here going like this, reminding me that that's one of the most common symptoms of a full moon is an itchy head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right?
there's all kinds
of
just
gets all itchy and creepy, and then a couple days later it's gone, and you have no idea.
But we don't pay attention,
right?
And there's another. As we're moving from 3D to 5D, it is going from service to self, service to others. Service to self means that you're not paying attention to yourself, and it's in a different way. The service to self is about what can I get? What can I have?
Yes.
And this is about how can I roll with nature? How can I just move through the frequencies? And it's understanding that they're there. So much of it is just being aware. Intuition is about being aware. And the first thing you need to start doing is take a walk in nature. What are you hearing? What are you feeling? What are you seeing? How does it make you feel? Notice. It's becoming in tune with your feelings.
I think a lot of, I had a thought. It was a good one.
And that just goes.
Right? That happens. That happens to everybody. Okay, here's my thought. So you were talking about service to self and then service to the greater good. And I think there's a fine line there. If you do not take care of yourself, you don't have anything left to give to the greater good. So there is a difference between taking care of yourself and doing it for yourself.
Yeah.
Right? One is selfish in the traditional like human sense of the word, and one is I need to take care of me because then I've got something to give others. Right? I've got energy to give others. I've got support or emotion or time, whatever you have to give someone else. If you don't take care of yourself first, there is nothing to give someone else.
I love that word selfish, because the ish part is what we talk about. It's like, what's the ish that you have, right? And getting rid of the ish is all about allowing yourself to take care of yourself, but then how can I help others? And I'm seeing so many people that are starting to, they call it pay it forward, but it's like, how can you help someone in any given moment? What's one thing that you could do? Think about that.
Sometimes it's as simple as a smile.
Yep.
Helping someone cross the street. It doesn't need to be these grand gestures about building new water supplies. That's spectacular, but it can be the simple things, right? A kind word to a friend when they really need it.
And I think it starts out with that too, and then it moves into bigger things as well.
Yeah, listening when someone else needs to talk.
So the other part of the full moon is the energies, right?
Yeah.
So the energy of the full moon is quite strong. And if you were just to lay out in the full moon and bask in the energies of that, that's healing in itself.
Mm-hmm. You can recharge your crystals in the full moon.
Yep.
Right? That's kind of fun. Put a glass of water in direct moonlight and drink it. It is the most cooling and refreshing water you will ever drink. It's crazy neat.
Yeah. And a lot of that too is going back to the feeling, because I've had people do that and go, I don't feel anything. It's because you're not feeling.
Right.
You have to feel. This is all about feeling. You hear me talk about it over and over and over, but it's, what does it make me feel? What does it make me think? Because we are thinking, feeling beings. And we have totally pushed all of that away because we don't want to feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where your addictions and all those things come in, because you're trying to suppress the feeling. But we were meant to feel all of it. It's all good. Yeah. Even though you think it's not, it's all good. Even the stuff that is difficult is good.
Yeah.
Because it shows us what we don't want, and we get to release it. And you see this all the time, I know you do, in the physical body, where people are holding on to stuff and it's causing them physical anguish because they just don't want to let it go.
Mm-hmm. And all the time.
There's so many simple things. So just being in the energy of the full moon, you can ask again in your, write your things out. You're asking, what do you want to let go of? And I think the key to that is believing it. Mm-hmm. Believing that something that simple can actually heal you.
It can be so profound. If your mind believes it, your body will achieve it.
Right.
And there's a whole book, actually many books written on this, but the one that I love is called The Biology of Belief.
Yes, I love that.
I know. It is a Harvard scientist and a biologist. He actually proved scientifically that what you believe, your body will make happen.
Totally. It's that simple, but we've got so much programming that we need to get through at this point. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what we're here to do. As we're moving from this energy into the new energy, Melissa's helping you physically. move and let go of all of that programming. I'm helping you mentally let go of that programming so that you can become the goddess that you were meant to be, the one that you always have been, just have forgotten.
Yeah.
And so letting go of the physical and the mental helps you remember who you are.
It helps you get into the spiritual.
Yes. And that's where it all is. It's in the spiritual. And if you want to know who you are and your purpose and where you're going and all that, you have to get into the spiritual. It is where the answers lie. I say this all the time, you can ask a million people, but it still comes from here. It is not outside of you, it is inside of you. Mm-hmm. And that's our job, is we're here to help you connect back to heart center, back to yourself. So we've been out here doing this, I think, for so long, and it's bringing it back in and into the heart of who you are. And that's where your answers are. Mm-hmm. So that's our job, as we're teaching you more about all these different things. You're learning what are some of the tools, and that's what we're here to do. So if you have any other questions that you want answered, post them below so that we can address them. We need to know what they are so that we can help you. That's what we're here. We're here to serve you and be able to help you move through this awakening into a place that I don't even think you can imagine. It is
so spectacular.
It is so spectacular. There are no more worries. There's plenty for everyone. There's free energy. There's
abundance. Everything is abundance.
Everything is abundance. There is the world that you see today does not exist in this space. And as we're spinning out into this, Mother Earth is moving into this higher vibration, we are going to have to let go of the identities that we have created and realize that we aren't any of them. Mm-hmm. They're just labels that either we've given ourselves or others have given us.
Yeah, for sure. So as we go through this full moon, if you notice any of those symptoms, right, the physical symptoms, you're having the emotions, you're having the itchy head, you're having the scratchy skin, you're having digestive disturbances, you have more pain. That's another really common one. If you've got more pain around a full moon, those are classic parasite symptoms. Go to the Vibrant Well Care store and you're going to order Parasite Complex. Super easy. Follow the directions on the bottle.
Yeah, it's that easy. Mm-hmm. It's just that we don't know. And that's why we're here. It's to help you have the tools so that you can start moving through this stuff easily and not have to experience all of the difficulties, because you don't have to. It's just you don't have the right tools. Now you are getting the tools that you need.
Right?
Yeah.
So think of the vibration of a parasite, right? What does that feel like? Tune into yourself right now. What does that feel like? What does a parasite vibration feel like? It's not very high. It's a very dense, low 3D vibration. So if you're trying to raise the vibration of your body, how do you do that? If inside you are other critters with that low 3D vibration, it doesn't happen.
Right. Yeah. So just notice how you're feeling this next full moon, this next full moon, and write it down, and then kind of keep a journal as what happens on the new moon, what happens on the next full moon, and as you're watching the cycles, you'll be able to see where you're at.
Yeah, your patterns.
Yep, it's patterns. It's just becoming aware of those patterns so that you have control.
Yeah. Love it. Thanks for joining us today. We really hope that you did enjoy this podcast. Go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and click the notification button so that every time we have more information to share, we can go ahead and share it with you and you'll be notified first.
Awesome. Have a great full moon.
Bye.